What up, beautiful people? This isn't going to be a normal vlog, but bear with me. I think you might enjoy this. This is a little insight, something that I've learned this evening that I want to share with you about grumpiness, moving out of the state of being grumpy into a light-hearted, more expanded, I was grumpy this evening. I wasn't like super grumpy, but I was just like a little bit agitated. I tried to park somewhere and I tried to pay for the parking, and then the app that I was trying to pay for the parking wasn't working, and then I got locked out of my Apple account so I couldn't even download the app, and then blah 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 blah, all these reasons. And I was going, fuck this, fuck the, and I'm never normally like crazy negative like this, but I just let myself rip. I was like, fuck the UK, fuck, I have to pay for fucking tax, I have to pay for fuel, tax on the fuel, I have to pay for my road tax, and now I still have to pay to park my fucking, and I just went into a classic grumpiness, into a bit of a snowball grump. And I watched myself go through the whole thing, and I thought, I'm literally learning at the moment how powerful it is to choose the words that I use, and how they literally create our reality, along with the thoughts that I'm having, and all of the weight of the vibration of the thoughts and the words and the energy that I'm putting out, and how that's reflected in my experience of my reality. Yet here I am, just letting myself spiral into a grumpiness. What's going on with that? And so I paused for a moment, and I just took myself on my own date this evening. I went to Wagamama's, and I thought, fuck it, like, I want some fucking noodles. Excuse all my French, but I'm feeling passionate. On my own, and I was sat in Wagamama's, and I was like, I can change my reality right now. I can change my experience of my reality. And then something told me, I had an insight where I was like, if my friend was grumpy or just in a bit of a mood, and I was trying to bring him out of that grumpiness, or her, I'd be like, come on, let's go. Like, come on, just drop. Like, I wouldn't be like, drop it. I'd just be like, come join the party. Like, whatever it is you're worried about, just forget about it for a moment and just come and enjoy your Wagamamas. Come and it's a state of mind. It's such a state of mind, especially when it's nothing particularly heavy. Of course, we don't want to be bypassing anything and just pretending like everything's super fine when actually things aren't okay. We don't want to be bypassing like the feelings that want to be expressed. But sometimes we have the capacity just to be like, yo, come on, everything's fine. We can change our mind. And so I was thinking, I'm going to be that friend for myself right now. And then I was like, fuck, that's really powerful. That's really powerful to be able to do that. And so I split myself into two. I was like, okay, here's my ego. My ego's grumpy, doesn't want to pay for parking, blah, 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 finding all the negative things to be grumpy about. And there are infinite things to be grumpy about. Like, I mean, I don't have to tell you, it's hard to be a human and stay at like a high vibration. It's a challenge out here in the matrix to actually be expanded and stay in this loving, where we're like finding all the positive things that can be found, and they're out there. It's our default setting also, in the way that we've been programmed, is to find all of the negative things, to tell us, to continue keeping us in this sort of victim mindset of like, oh, everything's out to get me, government's out to get me, having to pay more tax, everything's going, yeah, maybe they are, but the only way actually that we can shift our mindset is by choosing to do it. And so I chose to witness my ego being grumpy, finding all the things to be grumpy about, long list. And then I was like, part of me inside was like, yeah, but you can just change your mind like this. And it wasn't instant, but there was a part of me that was in the background going, come on, join the party again. Nothing is going to change outside until you change on the inside. And so it was there, and every time I was grumpy, I was like looking at my higher self, and my higher self was like, come on, Still, the party's happening. Are you gonna join the party or not? Like, everything is wonderful. There's nothing really to worry about. Like, right now in this moment, you can choose to drop all of the things that you're being grumpy about and enjoy your date. Solo date with myself. Enjoy your noodles, enjoy your ice cream. I'm sitting on my own. I'm like trying my best not to go on my phone. And so after a while, my ego is like, okay, fine. Okay, I'll join the party. And then I felt, and I noticed, I just felt lighter. I felt more expanded, and it felt like just a surrendering to my higher self that was like, come on, let's go. You know, that annoying friend that just wants you to come and have a good time, and you're like, just let me be grumpy for a minute. And then you drop the grumpiness and you're like, and then you go and have a good time together. You got to be that friend for yourself sometimes. You got to be that person for yourself sometimes. Sometimes you got to reach out and ask a friend to help you move through something and help them remind you that life is good, that there are lots of positive things to be grateful for. Even if it's just, I'm grateful for another breath. I'm grateful for being here. I'm grateful for having this very human experience of being grumpy. I'm grateful for having this very human experience of grieving, being sad, of loss, of pain, of fear, of the unknown. All of these things are superhuman. I can even be grateful for that. This is all a mindset. It's all a mindset, and it always has been. And so I think I've tapped into a little superpower this evening, and I'm inviting you guys to do the same. That if ever you find yourself just notice, this is mindfulness. This is practical, real life, messy human mindfulness where you're like, fuck this, fuck that. I'm noticing all of the negative things. To just internally be like, there's a part of me deep down that's there going, come on, come back to the party, let's go. Like, you don't have to be focusing on the negative stuff the whole time. Doesn't mean we have to ignore the real pain and the real suffering and the real fear of the unknown and all that real shit too. We don't have to bypass that. There's a time and a place for feeling into that and healing through that and transmuting that, for sure. But most of the time we can tap into that part of ourselves that's like, come back into the expanded state and just start to take command of the thoughts that we're having and the things that we're noticing all around us. And it's like all of the stuff that I was grumpy about is still there. I'm just choosing not to focus on it. Where your focus goes, your energy flows. And so I'm going to keep this short and sweet, but this is my invitation. When you find yourself grumpy, see that as a beautiful opportunity to tap into that part of yourself. And this won't be possible for everyone all of the time. This is unrealistic but I feel like it's super realistic for people most of the time to tap into a part of themselves that's waiting, and it always has been waiting, and it always will be waiting for yourself, that knows that none of this matters. None of this fucking matters. The thing that matters the most is your mindset about it and your perception about it. Those are the things that you can control. Your whole life can crumble and fall to pieces, and you can still fucking choose to see the benefits of it. You can still choose to see the positives of it. Everything will change eventually. Everything will move on, and nothing lasts forever. So take command of your mind. Change your mind and change your life. And you know what's really beautiful about this whole practice, and it is a practice because you do get better at it, and it might not be familiar to you at the start, as with all new things. This might be super new to you. This might be something where you're like, oh, I actually have been doing this for a while. I just didn't realize what I was doing. And sometimes maybe when you've got a friend who's really grumpy and you're in a good mood and you're like, I know what it takes to just turn that smile on and remind you that you can be grateful about something, that it's not that bad. Yeah, so we can practice being that friend for ourselves, and then we can practice being that friend for someone else. And that doesn't mean that you ignore the pain and the suffering and some deep, heavy emotions that your friend might need to be held through. We don't want to just sprinkle love and light and everything's going to be all right when they're actually moving through a deep emotional process. Sometimes you need to hold that space for people, and you need to hold that space for yourself when you're moving through something heavy. Hold that space for yourself. And then notice after you've processed those deep emotions, fuck, that feels better. Actually, I feel better that I sat with that, I had that cry, I got angry about that thing, I expressed that authentic emotion that was true for me in that moment, and I feel better for it. Doesn't mean that we bypass the healing. It doesn't mean that we bypass the authentic emotions that need to be experienced. But we can practice over time noticing where I don't need to dive down deep into my emotions. I'm just in a little bit of a grump and I'm noticing that I'm focusing on negative things. I can be that friend for myself, and I can pull myself just up a little bit and be like, you know what? It ain't that bad. And even the shit that is bad isn't going to be bad forever. And it's happening for a reason. And I can find some gratitude in the depth of my soul, and I can raise my vibration up and expand myself into a state of like, you know what? I'm going to be all right. You know what? I'm actually going to focus on the positive things in my life, because we get caught in these spirals where it's like negative, 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 negative. And guess what? When we're thinking and feeling negatively, we're anticipating negative. We find and search out the negatives to affirm the story that we've got running about ourselves. And it's our responsibility. Nobody can come and save you from this. This is a practice that is so powerful to learn for yourself that you will realize after a while that only you can really help yourself. Because it doesn't matter if that fucking jolly friend comes in and is like, come on, there's no need to be in such a bad mood. You still have to choose to surrender and allow your friend to lift you up and raise you up. It's still you. And get to know that part of yourself that's like, hey, don't fucking worry about it, bro. Don't worry about it. Or worry about it, but know that worrying just creates more worrying. Worrying creates more things to worry about. And with that, the lights go out, and I think that's the end of the video. Fuck. There we go. Anyway, I'm sending you some good vibes. I was grumpy 2 hours ago, and yeah, definitely noodles and ice cream helped bring me out of my grump. But it's all about mindset. You got this. I love you guys. I'll see you in a video real soon. Peace.